Folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Yeah, my voice is still out. I don't know if it sounds any better to you. Man, I feel like I'm going through puberty again, you know. It may not sound much different, but it does feel different. I don't feel like I'm straining as much just to speak and to form words. It's just not there. And for those of you that are worried about my health and stuff, I appreciate it. I'm actually not sick at all. That's not why I have this. I overdid my voice. I strained it. But as far as like health, I'm not sick or anything. I would like to think that it's because it was the fiery message that I gave on Shabbat, but that's not the case. I was just being a silly guy and goofing off and, well, lost my voice. But I do appreciate all of you, and I have been doing some herbal teas. I've come up with a pretty decent little herbal tea and with some honey and lemon, and it's making it feel better. Anyways, so today is October 7th, which is the 1-year anniversary of the Hamas attack on Israel, which has led to a lot of the stuff that's gone on over the past year, and especially the last few months, the last few weeks, a few days, the stuff in Lebanon, the stuff in Iran, and, you know, I mean, we could sit here and debate it all day long whether we agree or not agree with it, but the fact is that it's the 1-year anniversary, right? Well, the FBI and DHS and everyone has issued a warning to Americans that there's a possibility, there's chatter out there that on this day there could be attacks here in the United States as a memorial, you know, for the October 7th thing, or remembering or celebration or whatever it is. And so they're putting out a warning for Americans to be aware of that, to be on the ready. Also, I had mentioned at last week some point, Sean Ryan's show. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's one of the largest podcasts out there. He had a former retired lieutenant colonel special forces on there, and he was saying, I know there's always some former military that's got some intel that ends up not being correct. We've seen a lot of that over the last few years. But this guy's pretty legitimate, and he was saying that when we're hearing the congressional, they're trying to do that amendment to change the continuity of government, all this kind of stuff, when you hear all these warnings or just things taking place that appears as if they're worried about something, he said this is one of those things. He says the intel is that there's a planned attack on at least seven American cities that would be very much like the October 7th attack on Israel. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to happen, but there's a lot of chatter about it. And I think it's, you know, I know it's today, right? It hasn't happened yet, but it could happen. A couple of days ago, I believe it was San Antonio, Texas, 2 men that appeared to be Muslim got out of a van with AR-15s at a church, as if they were going to try to go into the church and do something. An armed security guard took shots at him, and they fled. And the last I saw, the local police were still looking for these men. Now, is this connected to all of that? Possibly not. But it's not that normal to see turban-wearing Muslim-looking men with weapons coming at a Christian church. So I think there's a possibility that these events are connected, and that we should definitely be on the guard for that. And today, definitely, and really just not today, but throughout, you know, well, until things dramatically change. The more that we are involved with Israel against Iran, the greater the chance that there is some type of terrorist attack, one or many here in the United States. And the thing is we are very involved. Now the United States is telling Israel that we will compensate you if you strike certain particular targets in Iran. Both the left and the right, both Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, and Joe Biden, they all want to go to war against Iran. They all want Israel to attack Iran. They're all supporting Israel in an attack against Iran. And I'm not saying it's wrong or it's right. I'm just saying that it could easily lead to things happening here in the United States where you and I will be directly involved in. And so you need to be ready for that. Today, if I caught you before you left for work or wherever you go for the day, be cautious. Keep your head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings. Situational awareness. You should have that all the time anyways. Maybe crank it up a notch or two. You should always be armed. Don't engage people. If someone has the appearance of being threatening, or they absolutely are, you come upon a situation, your first thought should be to get away, not to engage. And I don't care how well trained you are. You don't know how many of them there are. You don't know that other people that are armed might think that you're part of it. Using force, especially a firearm, should be the absolute last-ditch effort. And I'm super pro Second Amendment, pro, self-defense. But if you can avoid the situation or you can get out of the situation, that is absolutely always the best option. You don't have to play hero. If you can get out of there, get out of there. But be aware of things over the coming days. Just because today is the anniversary doesn't mean they may not decide to try to do it tomorrow. They're not that hardcore on things like that. They would do it tomorrow, the next day, in remembrance of today. That kind of stuff. So we have to keep our heads up and be awake and aware of what's going on around us, because there's ever increasing odds that bad stuff could start directly happening to the United States, American citizens here on the homeland. It's getting closer and closer to the election. Things are heating up overseas. Things have been heating up here in the United States. So, that's where we're at. So, you need to keep your preparations up. Keep working towards your self-sufficiency. Keep in prayer. Keep in Bible study. Keep in, building community. All of these things need to continue to happen. We also have to be aware of what's going on around us and what threats there may be, because we're just in that time. We're in that season of I believe conflict, and I believe violence, and it's not good, but it is what it is, and we must be prepared for that. So whatever you do today over the next several days, sorry, my camera mount thing is all loose, wobbly. Whatever you plan on doing, going anywhere, keep alert, and don't just think that, well, I live out here in the middle of nowhere. I live in this little small rural town. They're not going to come here and do anything. Don't be so sure of that, because those kinds of people and things happen sometimes in small little towns. It doesn't have to be that they're blowing up a building. It may just be that they use a firearm at people. So be awake and aware of what's going on. No more falling asleep at the wheel, folks. It's time to get your houses in order, to prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.